Welcome to this second episode in this series, all about your brain. For those of you who may be new to this, we've decided to talk about the brain and how it functions and how it could just be tripping you up. To be clear, I am not medically trained, but I have studied in psychology over the last 20 plus years. So I have a good understanding, as much as anyone can and a layman can, because obviously with science, it's constantly moving and changing. Last week, I focused on the two key aspects that I would look at, and many coaches actually do, and that's the conscious mind, that prefrontal cortex that allows you to do all your thinking, your rationalizing, analyzing, all that good stuff. And the unconscious mind, which is the rest of it. This is where it's stored all your memories and your emotions and your bodily functions and every experience you've ever had. And it's important for me to talk to you about the unconscious mind, because that is where I primarily work. If everything was in our conscious mind, you wouldn't have any need of any sort of help at all. You'd just know, wouldn't you? So the unconscious mind then. Today's episode is all about those early learnings between birth and actually before, to the age of 7. The growing brain. Have you ever tried to rationalize with a 2-year-old? It's not happening. And actually, even a 5-year-old, as I've learned in the last few weeks, it's not possible. They know the answers. They have everything they need. They don't need you to tell them differently. During those first 7 years of life, and as I say, in the womb, what's happening is the brain is a learning machine. The deeper part of the brain is a learning machine, and its primary objective is to keep you safe. Here's your brain. And you have experiences going on all around you all the time, and the brain is absorbing them all. I need you to understand that 24/7, your brain is scanning what's going on around you. And what it's doing is saying, is that safe or isn't it? Is that a threat or isn't it? And it makes decisions as to whether you came through it okay or not. And it applies a biochemical marker. Now that's really important for the work that I do. That biochemical marker is the emotion. And there's a very good reason why it's there. So as you start to grow, going through those early years, your brain is just a sponge and it's absorbing everything, even if you do not think it is. So your parents and all their ways of living, they are training you from a very young age to be a member of society, but according to a very small amount of rules. There will be society, then there will be family, and then there will be their rules. So you are being indoctrinated into a way of life so that you fit in, basically. Oh, that makes you safe. At this time, children do not cognitively challenge everything in terms of, what's this, explain that, what, understand. It's all just, it's either good or it's bad. There is nothing in between. They're very black and white. And when something's not right for them, this is the learning, it's not right, the emotion kicks off. And it's that emotion that triggers the behavior that you will see in tantrums, having meltdowns, children having meltdowns, or, if they're suddenly finding that they're with somebody they love, they just get so hyper excited, don't they? The brain has learned that this is safe, therefore you can have a good time and really have a lovely time. Oh, this is not safe. Whoa, you need to do this. Those early learnings are within all of us, and we do not know one half of what's there. I very often talk about the example of spider phobias. So if you've got a spider phobia, I'm just talking about them. It's not actually the spiders. The brain learns something about your first interaction with a spider. And let me tell you, it's got nothing to do with the spider. The chances are your first encounter around a spider was somebody in your vicinity screaming, running from the room, possibly jumping onto the table or the chair, and your unconscious mind has gone, what's going on? Oh, spider, that's what to be scared of. Marker of runaway, fear, scared, because it's not the spider, it's the reaction that's going on around you. And because your brain is so open, it's just absorbing all that emotion. Oh, hello. In and of itself, that's okay. But each time you experience it, the emotion gets louder. So you can imagine over time how phobias can develop. And it's exactly the same with how we learn to interact with our world. Those things that were bad then can, if they continue to happen, become louder as we get older, and we have no idea where they came from. So my role is to unpick those early learnings and understand what's really caused them, to either clear the early learning, which means the emotion's got nothing to attach to it, or reduce that emotion so that suddenly the early learning doesn't cause a problem. Either way, the idea is to get rid of them. It is not to say you'll never have that emotion again, because as you can imagine, the brain is very complex, and there are many different ways that the body can use those emotions. And I just want to come back to the idea of these emotions. What are they for? What many people do not realize when they think they are in control at a cognitive level, and I was one of them, still can be actually, is that the emotion will always overwrite your conscious mind. There is no way you can be emotional and cognitive at the same way, because the whole purpose of the emotion is to make sure that you can get out of harm's way faster than that. And it's faster than the thinking brain. That emotional brain is able to keep you safe. And so, really important for me to help you clear those emotions that are not serving you anymore. I'd love to hear your feedback, because obviously there's a lot there in that small segment, but next week I'm going to talk what happens to the next stage of development, because it really gets interesting then. Thank you so much for listening. Kim Searle, Emotional Mastery.